Well, that's, I want to get more into the idea of the catching a moving train thing. And if you're Petr Mrazek, a guy who was brought in here to share the crease with Jack Campbell, this was supposed to be a 1A, 1B, 50 games and 32 games at least type situation. Is there time and is it possible to salvage your game when you've had a season like Mrazek, when it's all just gone wrong? Puts a pretty decent performance together last night. Is there enough time for this guy to be someone who can help the Leafs as opposed to being just a risk and a concern when they get into a playoff series?
Yes, there's plenty of time.
Okay.
Case in point, go back to 2010. When I was in Philadelphia that year, we used like 92 goaltenders that year. Like, it was out of control. And myself and Michael Leighton were the last two standing in the end, and I was garbage all year, and I seemed to find my game after Leighton got hurt with about, say, 13 games left in the year, and I finally felt comfortable right as we got down to the end of the season. Toronto's making the playoffs, so there's no question about that. For Mrazek, I think he has plenty of time to sort things out. I think their team has plenty of time to sort things out 5-on-5 defensively so they can make sure that their goaltender feels a lot better about themselves. Their specialty teams are terrific. Like, they've got pieces to win. There's no question they can win. It's the one thing that's hanging over them is the goaltending. If the goaltending can just be solid, not cost you games, you don't have to steal games, I don't think. I think if you do that, you have a chance. And I think Mrazek has plenty of time to salvage this season. If you finish the last 10 games on a heater, and you go into the playoffs with that confidence, everything else is forgotten. And that's what he has to work his way to right now. It'd be great if he could do it, because I know that there's always that redemption feeling as a goaltender, especially when things go bad. You'd love to just, shove it in people's faces, and I'm sure he's got a lot of that going on right now that he wants to prove people wrong.
We're talking to Brian Boucher, former NHL goalie, hockey analyst for ESPN, currently in Raleigh, getting ready for Dallas and Colorado, Carolina. Boosh, before we get into that game, I just want to talk about that personal experience that you had with 10, 13 games to go. Was it a physical thing, a mental thing? Was it a moment, a practice that turned it around for you? And we're just thinking in Petr Mrazek's case, how much time does he need to maybe turn this thing around?
I think a little bit of it is physical at the start. Like, if you haven't played much, you got to get used to, getting your body ready to play back-to-backs and 3 and 4 and stuff like that, as opposed to just being the backup, right? So, yeah, there is a little bit of that, but that you can get that figured out pretty quickly. I think it's the mental side where the pressure that you feel, to perform and to not be the guy that is a story on the negative side of things. That's where you got to get through it. And really how you get through it is have a performance where you are a difference maker in the game, and that can turn the tide just like that, because, he should feel very confident in his team that they can score goals, right? I mean, that's not a question. If they can defend good enough that he can be solid in there and has that one performance, that can be the one moment that you snap right out of it and it catapults you in a different direction. And, that's what he has to hope for. Now, it can also go the other way. If he has a performance that turns into a real stinker, and then all of a sudden now you're on the wrong side of it, and it steamrolls the other way, that can be bad too. So, but I think right now his mindset just has to be park everything that was in the past and just, be solid. And if you have that performance, build off of it day after day. And then, your confidence can grow quickly in this time of year, because this is the best time of year. I mean, all the games mean something. You get into the playoffs, it's springtime. The excitement's there. Everybody's on the same page. It's not like you're playing in October where guys are looking for points and, you might get some loose nights defensively. Everybody's going to be on the same page. You're going to get the best effort from everybody in front of you. Do your job. If you do that, then you can build off of that.
Bush, at the start of the Leaf season, they did an all or nothing series for Amazon, and it was nothing. But they did all or nothing, and in that show, there's a scene where Sheldon Keefe is complaining about the goaltending. The goalie coach says, "Well, it was tipped." And Sheldon goes, well, can he stop one that's tipped? And, you know, we've watched the Leafs goaltenders give up tipped pucks. Their D is not great at controlling sticks. But how much blame can we give goaltenders? How much can we expect them to stop pucks that get redirected on the way to the net?
That one to me is laughable. Like, I mean, that's just, you get some guys that just say, hey, just stop the puck.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't care. They just stop the puck at the end of the day. I mean, how many times I heard that in my life? and there are times where it's like, you know, you're right. Just stop the puck. But on redirects, come on, give me a break. I mean, you can, as a goalie, you can read some tips, you know, like if it's a high tip, you know, those shot passes to the guy in the slot. You know how to play those, right? You don't overslide. You got to anticipate that. But sometimes when it hits a stick coming in, there's no way you can anticipate that. And a lot of it is just about if you're in the right position and the puck hits you, then then that's a plus. And if some nights they just go through you, and sometimes, you know, what happens is those tips they stop you from being able to control the rebound, and it leads to a second chance opportunity, and that's when it gets tough. So yeah, I mean, if you're a defender, you got to do a better job. Either get in the shooting lanes and make sure those pucks don't get through from the start, or start getting some sticks so that those redirects don't happen.